How much is your pain and suffering worth? What about your loved ones' suffering?
I get sad and I get mad.
In Florida, the answer could soon be a whole lot less. That's because lawmakers are considering adding caps on damages for medical malpractice. If Florida added these caps, would you consider moving back here?
Absolutely.
So how has that worked out in other states?
There is a malpractice crisis.
There is no crisis.
Sounds like it's time for a fact check. Let's see what's brewing. Hey, I'm Jenna Bourne, and I'm an investigative reporter at 10 Tampa Bay. If you're new to What's Brewing, welcome to our caffeine-fueled deep dive into issues that matter to you.
It's a bond that never goes away.
For Travis Creighton, visiting mom used to mean taking her out to lunch or going shopping.
You never stop loving your children, you never stop loving your parents.
Now this is the only way to visit.
What goes through your mind when you come out here to visit her?
Anger, sadness.
This photo of Geraldine Creighton was taken the day before she died. After a heart attack, her son says staff at a Tampa hospital faked part of her chart, claiming they checked on her and gave her treatment when they didn't.
Right after the death, I started looking at my legal options.
He tells us he called dozens of lawyers, and none of them would take his case. Not because he didn't have legit concerns over her care, but because his mother was a widow and had no children under age 25.
It's ridiculous. And people don't know this until they come across it through tragedy.
In December, we told you about a push to change part of Florida's Wrongful Death Act, which limits who can sue over a death from medical malpractice. If you are 25 or older, unmarried or widowed, and have no children under the age of 25, you're what critics of Florida's law call a free kill. If that's you, subsection 8 of Florida's Wrongful Death Act says your loved ones can't sue the doctor or healthcare facility for mental pain and suffering damages.
My name is Ann Cuomo Neary, and my son Christopher Cuomo was a free kill.
I'm a doctor in Florida, and my father was a Florida free kill.
My name is Sharon Bannerman, and my daughter was a free kill.
Florida lawmakers filed 5 bills this session to fully or partially repeal that restriction on who can sue, but only one is making progress: Senator Clay Yarborough's SB 248. If it becomes law, Florida's so-called free kill law would go away. Anyone would be able to sue over their loved one's suspected medical malpractice death. But, and this is a big deal, it would add caps on pain and suffering damages for anyone who sues over wrongful deaths or injuries caused by medical malpractice.
Because we have not seen enough support in the legislature to just do a clean repeal, I believe we had to look at another avenue to try to thread the needle and strike a balance.
Supporters say if we increase the number of people who have the option to sue, the caps are a necessary compromise to keep doctors' liability insurance rates from skyrocketing.
If we are going to expand the universe of claimants in the state of Florida, there must be some countermeasure, some counterbalance that is going to provide fairness and balance in the civil justice system.
It's political horse trading. We're going to give a right, but we're going to take away a lot more rights.
This is Clancy Bounds. He's a lawyer who represents patients and their families in medical malpractice cases.
The horrible irony of caps is they are going to hurt the most the people that are hurt the most and have the greatest loss. And that's why they're not fair.
The bill would not add caps on economic damages like medical bills, funeral expenses, and lost wages. Patients and their families would be limited to recovering a max of $500,000 in pain and suffering damages from a medical practitioner. That gets bumped up to a cap of $750,000 for medical facilities like hospitals. Those caps get hundreds of thousands of dollars lower if that malpractice happened during emergency care or if you're on Medicaid.
We're essentially saying your pain and suffering is worth less because you're worth less in our eyes, right?
Economically.
Economically.
So do Florida doctors have a hostile medical malpractice environment? If you look at the court data, you'll find these cases don't happen that often in Florida. State data shows people filed 1,295 medical malpractice claims in circuit courts last fiscal year. That means MedMal made up 0.5 percentage point of all civil claims filed. And according to the Florida Office of Insurance Regulation, Overall medical malpractice premiums have increased 6% since 2004. Now, that's an insurance rate increase that Florida homeowners can only fantasize about. Florida would join 29 other states that already have caps on medical malpractice damages, according to the American Medical Association's count. So are caps effective at keeping doctors' liability insurance premiums low? Not necessarily. We looked at the AMA's most recent list of states with the largest increases in liability premiums. 10 out of the 15 states already have caps on damages in medical malpractice cases. So we asked the AMA, if so many states with the biggest rate hikes have caps on damages, why are caps a strategy that the AMA supports to reduce liability insurance premiums? They told us, quote, "The stronger the cap, the more effective it can be. There is wide variation among states with caps on medical liability damages, but states like California and Texas with strong medical liability caps are benefiting from a long period of stability in medical liability premiums and improved access to care."
I personally know Florida-born, Florida-educated doctors that are now practicing in Texas because we have a better liability environment.
Texas added caps on pain and suffering damages in 2003, more severe caps than the ones Florida is considering. We're talking $250,000 caps for doctors and healthcare facilities. Although Texas still ranks in the bottom 10 states when it comes to physicians per capita, the number of active physicians in Texas increased after adding caps, growing by 45% between 2007 and 2021, according to data from the Association of American Medical Colleges. ER Dr. Sandra Williams was one of those physicians who moved to Texas, despite her deep roots in Florida.
I went to elementary, middle school, high school, college, medical school. I did my intern year. That's where I'm from.
She said the liability climate in Texas was her #1 reason for moving there.
I'm a single parent with a small child, and I would love for her to live near her grandparents, her aunts, her uncles, her cousins. But we live here in Texas without any other family because of this. So I would love to move back to Florida, but I want it to be a safe place for me to go for my career.
A 2022 Florida Department of Health report says nearly 5% of physicians surveyed said they plan to leave Florida in the next 5 years. Their top reason for leaving was family. Fewer than 7% blamed liability exposure.
This has occupied every day of my life since she passed.
Travis Creighton says he wants everyone to have access to the court system, but caps aren't the right compromise.
Every day of my life I'll fight this until it's gone. It's that important.
Thanks for watching What's Brewing. Subscribe to 10 Tampa Bay and add the What's Brewing playlist to your library so you don't miss an episode. And I'll see you next time.